Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today we will talk about first semester assignments for the subject business economics. So this is for April 2023 cycle. So don't get confused with our regular cycles. So some students may ask, sir, means those who have enrolled recently, they might ask that, sir, why we get the assignments very quickly and in a very short duration. So guys, this is not for you. Those guys who have enrolled in the month of January or February 2023, these assignments are not for you. These are specifically for those students who have enrolled in June, July, August, or September 2022, and they have already given their first sem exams, but unfortunately, they have not cleared their first semester subject business economics. So for those students, we have another cycle wherein the student can submit the assignments or give the exams if he has not cleared the subject. So even some students who have not cleared their exams, they also get an option to submit the assignments because NMIMS states that if you have not cleared the subject, you have the opportunity to submit the assignments along with the exams. So in this case, it's not a mandate for you. Suppose you have not cleared your exam, so you only need to give the exam, but you have the option to submit the assignments. If you want to, you can give a retake of the assignment second time. This time definitely the questions will be different. Now students may ask that, sir, in this case, like suppose if I get less marks, so suppose in first time earlier you get 18 marks in assignments. Now if you get 23 marks, then definitely the higher marks will be considered. Suppose you get a less marks, like suppose you get only 15 marks or 16 marks, then also it will consider the 18 marks. The maximum of the two will be considered, so it's always a win-win situation. And I recommend my students to submit the assignments even if only exam is pending based on your availability. Like if you can avail or you can have some time, then I would recommend to go for the assignment because there is always a high possibility that you can score a little bit higher marks, right? Now next important thing is, again, you are aware there are two important stuff in assignments. One is copy case and the second is plagiarism. So don't share your assignments with anyone. Don't directly copy paste from internet or from some other source. Always try to rewrite or reframe the content in your own words. As you already know that we are having three questions: first, second, third A and third B, each of 10 marks, and the third is having two parts, third A and third B of 5 marks, and the maximum word limit is 1000 words, plus minus 10% is totally acceptable. If we talk about business economics, this is more or less a SAMI, means numerical and theoretical based subject. So you can see the few numericals and you need to write few stuff. So let's see what needs to be written, what is being asked in the questions. Let's talk about the very first question. The technique of indifference curve has not been used only to explain the consumer behavior and demand, but also to analyze and explain several other economic problems. In the view of the above statement, elaborate the indifference curve and its properties. It's a very straightforward question. You just need to give an explanation about the indifference curve and you can specify the properties. So page number to refer is 107. So first of all, you just need to explain what is indifference curve. It's the locus of points representing different combinations of substitutes, which at the end of the day will result the same level of utility and same level of satisfaction to the consumer. So this is about indifference curve. Maybe you can take some example. Maybe you can just take two substitutes, like you can say the tea or coffee. Like take consumption of tea and how the impact of, like, you will consume low tea and high coffee, then shift slowly, you just move to the high tea and low coffee, and same way the total utility will remain the same. Always it's important in business economics to explain with an example. This diagram, it's good if you create a hyperbola. This is if you create this curve. So this is important. If you are creating this curve, maybe you can use a word document or some excel to just create some graph, or if not, then you can just simply attach a snapshot from the book or any other source. Make sure if you are using any source, do specify the source from which you are taking this snapshot. Then next part comes as what are the different properties. So we need to explain about the key different properties. Like here it's mentioned that three different properties, which is, one is it is negatively sloped, it is convex to the origin. Second is higher, and difference curve represent a higher level of satisfaction. And last but not the least is the indifference curve will never intersect to each other. So these are the three properties you need to explain these, and this is all which is being required in this question. Then moving on the second question, it's a complete numerical based question, but don't stick to only numerical. You need to explain a lot many things besides only the numerical part. Firstly, we see, okay, from the for below hypothetical data of total production cost of manufacturing firm at various levels of input, compute the following: output, total cost, fixed cost. Then you need to calculate the variable cost, average fixed cost, average variable cost, or the average cost, right? So the calculation can be different. You can do it in multiple ways. Let's see. But before that, don't jump to directly answers. Just see what are the different things to be referred. So going to the page number 243. Here is mention about the full what is fixed cost. Explain about fixed cost. Then excess variable cost. We explain about the variable cost. Then total cost. Explain with a formula that total cost equals to fixed cost plus variable cost. Then you need to refer to page number 247. Going to page number 247, so it's 246 and 247, like it's mentioned what is total fixed cost, total variable cost. And if we talk about this, so what is average fixed cost? It is total fixed cost upon total quantity. What is average variable cost? This is total variable cost upon quantity. And what is this is basically the total cost, sorry, it's average cost, which is fixed plus variable cost, right? So this you need to explain firstly, and after that we come to the question. If we talk about the variable cost, so in first it will be null for all this, right? For variable cost it will be 0,000. So variable cost is calculated as total cost minus fixed cost. So here it will be 0, here it will be 200, 300, it will be 280, sorry, it will be 380, and it will be 600, right? So this way you have calculated the variable cost. Then next part comes as the average fixed cost. So average fixed cost equals to fixed cost divided by output. So it will be blank because divide by 0 is not a number. Then it will be 1000 divided by 20. It will be somewhat around, I think, 600. uh, Sorry, it's 500. 1000 divided by 40, it's around 25. So it's 25, yes. So it will be 50, it will be 25, it will be 18 point something, and it will be 10. So this is the average fixed cost. So basically you need to divide the fixed cost by output. Then average variable cost, the average variable cost will be uh, the variable cost which you have calculated divided by output. Like here it will be 0, it will not applicable. Here it will be 200 divided by 20. Here it will be 300 divided by 40. Here it will be something 380 divided by 60. Here it will be 600 divided by 100. Then average cost will be summation of both these values, a and this average fixed cost plus average variable cost. This way you can calculate, or maybe you can just cross check that average cost will be equals to total cost divided by output. So in this case it will be null, it will be 60, it will be for 30 something, 32 something. Here it will be 6 to 23. Here it will be 16. So the value should cross check. So you can use any of the formula, right? So this way you can just calculate. Always explain with complete examples, as well as just summarize the stuff that how this is being calculated. Not only calculating using the formula will suffice to gain more marks. Definitely specify all the terms which are being asked in the question. Moving on to the third question. Third A, large scale production is considered to be economical in sense of uh, per unit cost. Explain the example by describing different types of economies of scale. Give examples to substantiate your answer. So economies of scale, it's directly given on page number 254. So economies of scale, it's clearly mentioned that as the firm expands, the efficiency also increases, which will lead to the more output per unit, leading to the lower in the average total cost, which you call it as the economies of scale. Economies of scale includes the two types. It's basically of two types. The one is the internal economies of scale, where the growth depends on the internal firm. It depends more or less on the overall firm in itself. So this is internal. And second is the external economies of scale, where it depends on some external factors, like you can say the transportation, training, support of other industries, which are not directly being the part of the internal firm, which is independent of internal part and more relates to the external parties. So this is about the internal external economies of scale. So that's a very straightforward question. Moving on to the third P, where you need to elaborate the cross demand, composite demand, derived demand, and cite the example to enumerate these types of demands. So let's see page numbers to be referred. So firstly, we talk about the cross demand. So cross demand is like where the demand does not depend on its own price, but it depends on the price of its related commodities, right? Like tea and coffee has a cross demand, right? Mathematically, it's being mentioned. So you can just specify some example here. It's being mentioned. You can just Google out. You can say those who are the substitutes of each other. Then next one is the composite demand. Moving on, the composite demand is basically where a demand is having multiple uses of some goods and commodities. Like if you talk about a steel, which is being used to maybe design some cars, maybe used to design some small day-to-day utility items, maybe for pipes, cans, and a number of things. So it's a composite demand where as the price of the steel, the raw material increase, the price of the final product will also increase. So this we call as the composite, where it is depend on the another product. Then last but not the least, about the derived demand. So if we talk about the derived demand, where it refers to the demand for a product that rises to the demand for another products. It's also quite similar to the above one, where the demand of cotton to produce the fabrics is the derived demand, right? Which includes the raw material, intermediate goods, machinery, and land, labor, capital. This also have a derived demand. So this all about the derived demand. So you need to explain all these three demands, which is being mentioned in the book, and being it's 500 words, don't exceed maximum 550, not more than that. So this is all about third B question. We have already covered all the three questions. If you have any doubt or facing any issue or challenge, feel free to just connect to me at ngasc.mba@gmail.com. If you like this video, do like, do subscribe, and stay connected for further videos. Thank you so much.